Hi everyone, this is Johnnyonoes, and I am playing Subnautica, the Power Nap update. And in this Let's Learn video, we're going to go over how to use both the thermal plants as well as the power transmitters. So what I learned pretty quickly, and it took me a couple tries, a little trial and error, when you're placing a thermal plant, it's best to put it, actually you have to put it on the ground rather than a foundation if you want to connect it with a power transmitter. So finding a spot to put a thermal plant down is pretty easy. You just look for some volcanoes, and volcanoes are one of the bits of information you can get by finding a location. You know, when you find that big X in a box and it gives you a cool location, most of, or not most of them, but some of those signals will send you over to a volcano. So this is a little volcano or little eruption thingy, an eruption thingy. That's real technical. In the Great Reef, and you can verify the heat if you have yourself a thermometer, which you can see on the bottom left-hand side of my screen, the very the lowest one of the bars there. So as I get closer, it gets hotter, obviously, but thermal plants only need more than 15 Celsius worth of temperature. So the fact that this is 50 here means I can put thermal plants everywhere around in this area. So to build a thermal plant, you just need, let's see, I get some power. You just need a titanium ingot, which is 10 pieces of titanium, some magnetite, which you can find quite easily in the northeast quadrant of the map, which is the mountainous area. Make sure to bring your sea moth with your little electric field thingy equipped so that you can get away from those reapers that are over there. But magnetite is very common in that area. I think you can also find it somewhere in the Grand Reef too, but there's a ton of it in the northeast area, and you can find where to. You can actually just drive on the surface of the water and look for a mountain over there. That way you'll know exactly where to go. I think if you just look parallel to the you look what's the direction, so if the aurora is to the east, yeah, you'll be basically driving in parallel with the aurora and going northeast, and you'll find the mountain, and then you just go into the water and you'll find some magnetite. So let's go ahead and build us this thermal plant that I just deconstructed. Alright, got a thermal plant, and you just put it right on the ground. No foundations necessary. If you do put these thermal plants on a foundation, the plant seems to get confused on where the main base is, and it seems to think that the foundation you put it on is the main base. So put it on the ground and you'll have all your power where you want it to be. Alright, so let's go ahead and build us a power transmitter, which requires some gold and titanium. Not too hard. So the way I like to start doing my transmitters is I want to get like a focal point for every single one of the plants. So I tend to put it right in the center. You can verify that all the plants are picked up by the transmitter just by counting it. So I've got 4 on the left and 4 on the right. So I think I have 8 plants. Yeah, it looks like there's 9, but let's see. And you just, once you place it, you can just make sure that every plant has a line going to your new transmitter. Alright, let me go ahead and get some air real quick. Should probably do these videos with like a ton of tanks on me. Not that I'm collecting anything. Alright, so now if you start to build another transmitter, you'll notice that the one in the center is now connected to the one in your hand, the potential one in your hand. Then you want to start swimming over to where your base is. So you can keep swimming until the line disappears, and that'll give you an indication of the range, the possible range for the transmitter. So I keep going. Oh, now I lost it. Now I move back and then place it here. You can verify that it worked, that there's another beam going there. So pretty lax in terms of how the beam or how energy is transmitted between the transmitters. You can even place it behind an obstruction. So you can see here the line is still connected even though it's going through the rock. And keep on going, keep on going. This was probably the last one we need to place because the range on these things are pretty big. Just going to put it right here. The line is still there, and finding some green. There we go. And as you can see, there's a line coming from where the thermal plants are to your base. And I already have a nuclear power plant in there. And each one of the thermal plants gives you about 50 power, so I should have 1,000 power in my base, which I do. Alright, so that's how you use thermal plants and setting up your power transmitters. Thanks for watching, folks. This is Johnnyonoes playing Subnautica.